Contents. 1. Background. 1.1 Ayurvedic perspective. 1.1.1 Concept of Rasa and Rakta Dhatu. 1.1.2 Hypertension vis-a-vis other similar conditions described in classics. 1.1.3 Pathophysiology of hypertension as per Ayurvedic principles. 1.1.4 Etiology, Nidana, of Vyanabala Vaisamya. 1.1.5 Prodromal features, Purvarupa. 1.1.6 Symptomatology, Rupa. 1.1.7 Pathogenesis, Samprapti. 1.1.8 Management, Cikitsa. 1.1.9 Dosa Vivekana of hypertension. 1.1. 10 Hypertension in Dosa concept. 1.2 Modern perspective. 1.2.1 Introduction. 1.2.2 Classification of hypertension. 1.2.3 The regulation of blood pressure. 1.2.4 Pathophysiology of hypertension. 1.2.5 Etiology. 1.2.6 Management of hypertension. 2. Drug profile. 2.1 Study 1. 2.2 Study 2. 2.3 Study 3. 3. Clinical study. 3.1 Materials and methods. 3.2 Demographic data. 3.3 Results. 4. Discussion. 5. Conclusion. 1.1.1 Concept of Rasa and Rakta Dhatu. Rasa is colorless and it gets red color under the influence of the Ranjaka Pitta. According to Sushruta, the origin of Rasa is food. It is the quintessence of nutrition. This Rasa Dhatu turns into Rakta Dhatu in the Daya. According to Cakrapana, Rasa significantly contributes in the formation of Rakta with parts of itself, which are homologous of this Dhatu. It circulates throughout the body through 24 dhamani to soothe, maintain and irrigate the body by oozing. It permeates the entire body. While circulating through the various asayas, it causes in contact with dosa, dhatu and mala. It is a viscous fluid and functions by lubricating, vitalizing, barisoning and nourishing the body. As told, the entire rasa is not transformed into Rakta Dhatu i.e. arg. The remaining parts of it assumes red color, as it traverses through Raktasthanas, Yakt, Pliha. Sivadesa Sena quoted that the Rasa Dhatu in the course of its circulation, first comes in contact with the Raktasthana where it is turned into a substance resembling Rakta in color and it thus proceeds to nourish the Rakta Dhatu, with substances which are homologous to this Dhatu. This Rasarakta Dhatu then gets circulated throughout the body with the help of Vyanaveda through the 24 dhamanis. As the Vyanavayu is responsible for the movement of Rasarakta Dhatu, any derangement in the Vyanavada causes disturbance in the circulation of Rasarakta Dhatu, which is explained earlier. As per the classics, Veda can be vitiated by I, Dhatukaya and 2, Avarana, obstruction of pathway of Veda. Excessive indulgence of Veda increasing diets and habits produce rakat, karata, kathanata etc. and responsible for loss of snigdhata, unctuousness, subsequently produce dhatukaya in the body especially inside the channels. This in turn increases vacuum, riktasthana, inside the srotas, which is further occupied by Veda causing Vedavdi. Sometimes excessive indulgence of diet and habits possessing rakat, karata, kathanata properties may reduce the elasticity of the channels and cause sankoka, constriction of the blood vessels, which cause obstruction to the movement, thereby aggravating Veda. This is one of the phenomena of vitiation of Veda by Avarana process. Upakaya, excessive accumulation of unwanted materials, inside the srotas reduces the internal passage of channels, which may also become barrier for the movement of Veda and subsequently results into vitiation of Veda, which is another phenomenon. Vitiated Vyanavada produces more pressure on the vessel wall in two ways during movement of Rasarakta viz. I. Obstruction of the channel by other dosa or dhatu. Whenever Veda is either in the normal or in decreased state initially, produces the condition of Avta Veda. 2. Increase of Vyana Veda by indulging Veda increasing diet and habits. In both the above conditions, the aggravated Vyana Veda alters the circulation of Rasa-Rakta in their specific channels. Here the signs and symptoms will be produced according to the mode of increase of Veda and the sites or the organs involved in the circulation of Rasa-Rakta. 1.1.2 Hypertension vis-a-vis other similar conditions of classics. However, there is no doubt that this disease must have been existed in the past as well, though not in the same form, incidence and severity. The change in social and economic conditions, lifestyle, dietary habits, and an increasing stress and strain in earning the livelihood must have increased the frequency of this disease, which necessitates the scientist/scientific community to describe it in detail. Most of our knowledge about hypertension is the outcome of science and technology. Different conditions, which can be correlated with hypertension, are discussed below. Damani Parapura, according to Gananth Sena, the word hypertension has been translated as Damani Parapurana, because of its increased blood volume and increased pressure on the arterial walls, Siddhanta Nidana 1 of 38. Increased volume of blood may be the only initiating factor in the pathogenesis of hypertension, but it is the increased vascular resistance which keeps blood pressure high in advanced cases. So the name Damani Paripura seems partially correct. Vyanabala Vaisamya. In 1974, in Pradeshika Vaidya Samalan Patrika, Vaidya Brihaspati Dev Thriguna said that the modern clinical entity of blood pressure can be correlated with Vyanabala Vaisamya, as circulation of Rasa Dhatu in body and its velocity depends upon Vyana Vayu. Damani Pratikaya. Damani Pratikaya, which is a Kaphajan and Atmaja disease according to Karaka, is correlated with hypertension by the Maharashtra School of Vaidya, Vaidya Ad Athwale et.al. Acharya Cakrapanadatta has explained Damani Pratikaya as Damani Upalipa. The word Damani Pratikaya suggests loss of elasticity of arterial wall, often seen in arteriosclerosis, which takes part in the pathogenesis of hypertension. But in some instances, arteriosclerosis can be one of the pathological processes that may lead to hypertension. Siragata Veda. In the same way, Siragata Veda Rafa 2830 has much similarity with clinical description of arterial hypertension. Pitta Veda, when Veda is obstructed by Pitta, it manifests clinical features like flushing, excessive thirst, pain, giddiness, transient unconsciousness. Ingestion of pungent, sour, salty food causes indigestion and desire for cold things. Raktavata Veda. When Veda gets obstructed by Rakta, it causes burning pain between skin and muscles. It also causes redness, edema and burning sensation. Pitta Udana, when Udana Vayu is overlapped by Pitta, it causes fainting, burning sensation in navel region and chest, fatigue, alteration of oja and malaise. Pripta Udana, when Prana Vayu is overlapped by Udana Vayu, it causes stiffness of head, coryza, difficulty in inspiration and expiration, cardiac diseases and dryness of mouth. Raktagata Veda, the symptoms of Raktagata Veda are Tivra Ruja, body ache, Kata, emaciation, Arumic, skin disorders, Vyamba, stiffness of body, and Arusi, loss of taste of food. 1.1.3 Pathophysiology of hypertension in Ayurveda. Blood pressure is the result of many physiological activities, therefore this process is considered to be produced by some organs like heart, energy which controls the movement of the heart and other organs. In Ayurveda, Tridosa, Saptadhatu and Trimala are the root causes of all the functions of the body. So particularly for understanding the blood pressure in term of Ayurveda, consideration of various basic factors like Rasa and Rakta Dhatu, transport systems, Srotas, Sadaka Pitta, Avalambaka Kapha and Oja are necessary. These following factors interact with each other and are responsible for the changes in blood pressure. A. Rasa/Rakta Parabrahmana. B. Manovaha Srotas. C. Vatavaha Samsthana. D. Mutravaha Srotas. E. Dosa Vivekana.
I. Rasa, Rakta Paribrahmana vis-a-vis hypertension. Rakta circulates along with Rasa as both are Dravadatas fluids. Circulation of Rasa and Rakta takes place together with the help of heart pump through Damani, Shrotas and Sira. It can be supported by the following points. 1. Hridaya is the organ which receives the blood from all parts of the body. 2. Circulation of rasa, rakta from Hridaya is with the help of Vyanavayu. 3. Samanavada brings rasa to Hridaya after digestion of Ahara rasa sarngadhara. This rasa after the action of Ranyakapitta is converted into rakta. Now it is clear that rasa enters in the yakrit, liver, and there it is converted into rakta with the help of Samanavayu. Then it enters in the Hridaya and through dhamanis it circulates in the body. Thus, rakta is called adhara of jiva living individual. Acharya Suruta has quoted that rasa circulates in the body-like movement of Sabda, Agni and Yala. Acharya Bella has quoted that Raktavahi dhamanis originate from Hridaya and their small branches are distributed all over the body. These contain rasa and rakta which provide nutrition to all other dhatus with the help of vata. Hridaya and hypertension. Hridaya is the organ of cardiovascular system which plays main role in rasa. Raktasambhahana. It defines the whole physiological concept of it as Hirana carries in different nutrients required for the body, gives away nutrients etc. to the dhatus, continues to exist work invariably till person dies. Hridaya performs the functions of Sankakana systolic and Prasarana diastole, continuously in a rhythmic manner. In terms of modern physiology, it can be called as autorhythmicity. Acharya Suruta has quoted that in fetus, heart originates by essence of kapha and asark. It is the mula of rasa and pravavahashrotas and main seat of rasa and rakta Dhamani and hypertension. Dhamani means pulsatile, which fills, which expands. Acharya Karaka has mentioned that Hridaya as the root of Dhamani. Acharya Karaka and Karangadhara have described Dhamani as synonym of rasa vahini. This circulate the rasa, rakta propelled by Hridaya and provides nourishment to the body tissues. Any type of pathology in Dhamani have their adverse effect on blood pressure. 3. Sira and hypertension. These are tubular vessels through which the fluids circulate. Acharya Kakrapani has explained that sira are channels which transport its constituents from one part of the body to other. Sira can refer to veins or it represents the venous network. According to Acharya Sarngadhara, siras bind the joints of body and they carry Vatadi Doka and the Rasadi Dhatu. If shrotas and hypertension, these are channels through which fluid flows and oozes out. The channels of circulation or tracts within the body are called as shrotas. In case of hypertension, Rasaraktavaha shrotas are predominantly involved. Acharya Karaka has quoted that Hridaya and Dasa Dhamani are the mula of rasa vehi shrotas. Shroto Dukti Hichu. Acharya Karaka has quoted that the dietary factors like guru, sita, etisnida and adamtra bolyana and the situations like adasinta are responsible for rasa vehi. Shroto Dukti, which further leads to vitiation of vata dosa. He has also quoted that yakurt and pliha are the mula of raktavshi shrotas and their dusty leads to vitiation of vata doka, i.e. mainly responsible for causation of raktagata vata. Snigdha, ueka, drava. Dagkara foods are responsible for shroto dukwi raktavahi along with atyadapa savana. The properties of ahara and vihara, which are opposite to dachi and similar to doka, are responsible for shroto dusty. B. Manovaha shrotas and hypertension. Acharya Karaka has quoted that Sinta worry, Saka grief, Krada anger, Harka bliss, Labha materialism are some factors which cause vitiation of dosa and these vitiated dosas reach Hridaya brain and higher mental functions and cause Manovaha shrota vikara. Acharya Kakrapani, while commenting on the above, opined that, though Manovaha shrotas have not been described separately by Karaka, the role of mana and interacting with arthas visaya through Janandriyas and Karmandriyas is elaborately described. Thus, it can be inferred that mana resides in Hridaya like Adma. Therefore, Hridaya may be considered as root of Manovaha shrotas, and many pathological conditions of Hridaya lead to morbidity of their asaya. This prana and Vyanavada and vice versa. These vitiated prana and Vyanavada are most probably like to involve in the induction of hypertension. Vadavaha samsthana and hypertension. Any sort of gaudy movement in body is only regulated by Vata doka. Vadavaha samsthana. In normal state maintains pressure and normal flow of blood inside the channels. When vitiated results into abnormal pressure a high, low blood pressure. In the pathogenesis of hypertension, Vyanavayu along with prana and apanavayu get affected. Vyanavada, the seat of Vyanavada is Hridaya and it moves all over the body. It concerns mainly with the transportation of rasa to all parts of the body. According to Acharya Kakrapani Datta, Vyanabala by its functions of a virant vicipiate a continuous transportation, circulates rasa dhatu all over the body. When Vyanabala gets vitiated, it may lead to increased contraction of blood vessels, increased peripheral resistance and increased blood pressure. Acharya Suruta has explained that when Vitiya gets afflicted, it leads to diseases pertaining to sarvasaurura, multi-system involvement. As it is well known that hypertension is also a pathological process involving sarvasaurura and, having widespread systemic complications, it is relevant to consider it as Vyanabala Vikudi. Pranavata, the seat of Pranavata is Murta brain and it sends impulse to Hridaya. Acharya Suruta has mentioned that Pranavayu vitiation leads to vitiation of all other types of vata. Pranavayu is situated in mastika and its sakas. It is well known that Kama, Krata, Woka, Sinta etc. are well associated with hypertension. It can be presumed that their role in causation of hypertension is resulted through vitiation of Pragavayu, Demutravahashrotas and hypertension. Formation of mutra has also been described in Ayurvedic literature. It is a fluid waste of ahara, which is expelled from body by apanovayu. Acharya Suruta has explained that process of formation of urine is through Syandana osmosis, which occurs day and night. This formed urine fills the basti from both sides. This statement, also seen in Atharvaveda, states that mutra or sarahina drava, part of digested food, is absorbed from intestines. It enters the basti through gavini sayakika. In the same way, Acharya Adhamala quoted that Vaka is the mula of ahara jalavahini sir. It means ahira yala must be yala bhaga fluid produced as the end result of ahara paka. Functions of mutra as removal of kleta from the body. As we know, Vraka is the organ which participates in the formation of urine and, when it functions properly, maintains saurura kleta in physiological proportions.